How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen,
Greetings to you.
wherever you are, for music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we hope the station for you is OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network. Real Radio is glowing in the dark. We will be chatting and talking with some of the tube radio operators around the area here in Central California. 27085 Channel 11 is where we are at, hopefully in your skip zone or your RF zone. And we'll see what we can do in our pre-Super Bowl edition. See who's going to be the most heard radio manufacturer tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network standing by for radio check-ins.
45.
Like that guy right there. Hello, Paul. You are loud and clear at the control point here tonight, and looks like you may be getting us started off with radio number 1.
Yeah, okay. This is kind of I didn't plan on checking this radio in, but I've been working on that on-the-air speaker on the thing, and the light on this is my buddy Ed Bass. You can probably tell, you know him pretty well. The TX-11B transmitter with an RC-11B receiver.
All right, the Buddy Bass. Let me show the advertisement, because I've got a picture of Harvey's, but he doesn't have the standard on-the-air speaker light, which is what you mentioned. So I want to make sure that we show that in the video here. And it is sounding good. It is sounding smooth. Give us a transmission on the Big Buddy Bass.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the same radio there with the speaker on it that I've got. I've been working on that speaker. The fellow I got the radio from sent me some pieces of a little speaker, and been lucky enough to get the thing together, and believe it or not, it's working. But boy, I'll tell you what, finding parts for that thing was really, it was fun. Anyway, this is my buddy, the latest one that I've got. It's got the serial number of 114. So it's a pretty low on the list. There's only about 800 of these guys made, of the buddies made, and they are really a true classic tube CB radio, all hand wired and everything. I'm sure you got some things to talk about on things, Dennis. Back to you.
All right, yeah, not many made. There were, I guess, 2 manufacturers: the Autronics version, the Marina Communications versions, which were done here in California. On the TX-11B. A lot of people liked that setup, especially for the transmitter, which you could get a 30-watt input to the final with the quote-unquote 10-meter conversion, and then there was some other modifications they did with beefing up the audio with the 6L6 tubes, which didn't quite fit in there too well, but made things kind of nice. Believe it or not, just the transmitter on that was $125, I think, on or around that price. But of course, you needed to buy a receiver or that receiver that went with it, and you got to be cool and have the 3-piece radio. Got to be a little bit better than those Brownings, right? And the Demcos, and you got to have 3 pieces to make your radio work. Radio number 1, the Buddy Bass. TX-11B is a transmitter, RC-11B is a receiver. The on-the-air speaker light. Before you go, Paul, make that on-the-air speaker light up once again for us. Thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, it does light up. I'm proud of myself. Sometimes I don't have this much luck, but I got it going. Anyway, they talk about the receiver being bad on these things. I tell you what, they are a super receiver. They are really, really good. They just have no rejection. So I'm lucky enough to live up here in the mountains where I don't have a lot of neighbors. So I really enjoy listening to it. It's crystal clear. And by the way, you're sounding up to par 100%. Back to you, Dennis.
All right, yeah, reminds me of my Johnson Viking, the Messenger, the Whiteface. Boy, you could hear, if somebody was on channel 10 or 12, you would know it, because they sound like they're right on the same channel. If you're watching the video, I swapped over to, that's Harvey's radio. Now, that does not show the on-the-air speaker, but there is the, you can see the size between the transmitter and the receiver. I believe the receiver is larger of the two. So I don't know. Maybe we'll encourage Harvey to bring up his Buddy Bass tonight. Thanks for getting us started off with some tubes. Paul, sounding good. The Old Tube Radio Network, listening.
Thanks, Dennis.
54.
And SWL 54, the guy that lives over there on the top of page 3, I think, when we do the roll call. Hello, Larry.
Yeah, I stayed up a little while here longer. I don't know how long I did. I switched over to the other side of my shack here and keyed up the old tram here, the D201. And I don't think I say much about it. Everybody's pretty much knows about it.
All right, yeah, I think if you even got into the tube radios late, you definitely know about the Tram Diamond series, the D201, the D201A. Pretty much back in the early 70s, the competition for Browning. It was always the Tram guys against the Browning guys, sounding good. And Larry, you are radio number 2. Yeah, I was mentioning earlier about our little short, I don't know, it must have been like hour burst of skip, the E-skip from Southern California, and then I think there was stuff from Hawaii, and Larry was actually out there. I'm not sure what radio he was on, but he snagged all of it. So he's got a great station out there, whether it glows in the dark or not, and this one certainly is. Give us another transmission on the Tram.
All right, yes. Yeah, I got more to check in, but I'm not going to do it tonight. Maybe next week. Anyway, all you SWLs out there, have a good one.
Break, OTR.
All right, breaker acknowledge. And Larry, thanks for staying up late tonight. I used to be like you, one of the real early risers and go to bed early. So this is like staying up past midnight for you, and we appreciate it. Thanks for the Tram D201 on frequency tonight. Breaking station. It sounded like a 37. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's me, Dennis. I want to check in my Citizens little phone, the helicopter's model CB3A, an 8-channel transceiver. Got one light on it, but actually 2 lights. License the candle light and that one light over there on the bottom lets you know when you key up, it lets you know you're on the air. Had to unkey it, key it back up. And also this thing here's running the original handheld stock carbon microphone.
Ah, yes, we like the original. I can tell that's the original sounding audio there. It doesn't sound over-amplified, over-modulated. It sounds like we are back in the time machine in 1963, 64, when the little phone series, CB3A, was in its prime. And if you opened up your CB magazine of the day, whatever it might be, you would probably see an advertisement for one of those radios. And here it is in 2017, sounding good. I have my, as you well know, I have my own Helicrafters items around the shack here, so I always appreciate when I see that little red logo, the little red badge with the lowercase h. Back to you.
All right, boy. Yeah, I figured I would start off with my big radio,
The big one that you just flip that top open and you can get in there and get personal with all the tubes.
Oh, yeah. Burn your fingers, too.
All right, well, we don't want we don't want that. We advocate safe transmissions here at the Old Tube Radio Network, mainly because we want you to come back next week to be able to check in. You are radio number 3 with the Helicrafters CB3A, 7 tubes. Just a reminder that if anyone has one of those or would like to know more about it, if you go to oldtuberadio.com, looks like we've got a schematic online to take a look at. There were 2 versions. There was a 112. You could go 12-volt DC, so I'm assuming that you probably had a different power cord that you'd put in that thing that would kick in the 12-volt side. And original price at your local electronics store in 1963, about $160. So not bad for $160. Give us another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by.
When you open it up and you start measuring those things, we call that safe tubing.
Safe tubing is a good thing. Over.
All right, Dennis, we'll be back with another.
Okay, and this is your Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. Trying to get things, if I can get the attention of our other studio there, get the jingle singers to rally the troops around the ribbon microphones and tell us about their favorite place to be on a Saturday night.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
Yeah, you kind of unkeyed there soon there for a minute, Dennis.
Yeah, I did. I'm here for those who are watching the video. Saw me flailing around here trying to get a drink of water, and I use I have to be hands-free to do all the paperwork and clicking the mises around here. So I have a foot switch, and so when you start leaning side to side, sometimes you don't quite make the foot switch, and that's what keys the transmitter here locally. Those on the Universal Media NetWeb were not interrupted by my shenanigans.
And anyway, break OTR.
35.
And the breaking station acknowledged. What was the number so I can write it down? Okay, I thought I heard somebody in there. Anyway, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I heard somebody else in there too, but I guess he might be talking to me. But anyway, yes, Dennis, I'm starting off with I started off with my little radio. Now I'm going to go for the medium-sized one. This is the pretty blue one here. This is the G PowerMate by Jim Marine Products, 23 channel 2 that glows in the dark. And this one here, I'm operating this one here with the amplified D104 Lollipop microphone. Over.
All right, yeah, that one has a little bit of beef to the audio, sounding nice and loud here on the net tonight. And of course, don't forget to remember, that you can hear that on our archives when we get them all tidied up here after the net. So what I'd like to do is have you take another transmission, and when you do, we'll go ahead and put up a shot of. Actually, this is indeed the radio on which you're transmitting. This is what you're seeing on the video is Chris's Gem Marine radio that he's going to talk on right now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Gotta learn how to talk too. But yeah, that was taken right here in the room right here when he came over and videotaped, something here on that Jim Marine videotaped. But anyway, he took a picture of it, and that picture is the picture of this one that I'm talking on right now. You can see the base of the microphone sitting there. But yeah, this is it. Kind of works good, looks good, sounds good, and receives good.
All right. Well, receive good is a good thing. That way you can hear net control. And that makes me happy. For my what do they call it? 10-9 mud duck. What is the current moniker for somebody that needs to get their act together on their transmitter? Radio number 4 is the Gem Marine Products G PowerMate, and I believe that is one of the we call it the import clones of the day. With the Panasonic chassis that made quite a few of the. In fact, I think they made all of the, with the exception of Browning, of course, and Tram. They made all of the other 40-channel radios. But always a good job. Give us another transmission, Radio 4. Thanks for bringing it by.
Okay, Dennis, thank you for being there, and I'll be back with another. We got one coming in. I'm sure you're gonna. Hopefully, the guy that keyed up after I keyed up. I hope you remember who you were. I don't, but sounded good when you did. I'm out and listening, getting ready to hook up another.
All right, in the Old Tube Radio Network, listening for breaking stations and tube radios.
Yeah, okay, 45.
Hey, there it is. Okay, I thought I heard something ending in 5 before. Hello, Paul, up in North Fork, which is, I don't know, as the crow flies, whatever crow that is. Maybe it's Heckle and Jekyll. As the crows fly 30 miles or so, 35 miles to the north and to the east, up in the hills just a bit here in Fresno. And Paul, tell us what you got. Over.
Yeah, okay, I've been looking at this on the net there. You had this app on there, so I had to check it in. This is my general radio telephone, Super MC12.
Oh, yeah, all right. Let's go to that. Paul, who has quite an extensive general radio telephone collection, not just the radios, I think some of the other accessories that they did as well. And I think we're going to be lucky enough to, like we did with Chris, have an actual photo of the radio on which our guest is talking here. And there it is, the General Radio Telephone MC12. I don't know if this is the exact one. I know you might have a couple of them, but we've got it online. I always like your photos out in the flora and fauna, in the natural daylight. Back to you.
Yeah, those trees in the background, none of those are there anymore, hardly. Maybe one or two, but they're all gone. Now that's my radio, but it's not doing well right now. So I'm talking on another one. They're both the same thing. They look identically the same. And I'm running a Turner 350C microphone on the thing, which is stock general radio telephone microphone. I like the way it sounds. This radio has got a lot of modulation and it's got a lot of power. They went to the 6C-10 tube in place of the ECLL800, and boy, it really brought it up. Nice radio. Too bad FCC wouldn't let them continue to use it, but it isn't. Back to you, Dennis.
Yeah, the all the later generals, the MC9, Super MC9, 11, 11A, just really nice audio without really having to do anything, as Chris will prove to us later on with his stock microphone. The Super MC12, a lot like the Super MC11A. I guess right after that General Radio Telephone was sold to the Skyhawk Antenna Company in 1972, they upgraded the MC12 with a much larger and powerful final audio tube, which you talked about. But unfortunately, it was not able to be type accepted by the FCC, and the last of the General Radio Telephones. Although we're not quite sure of the, what is it, the MC100, the one that Harvey has, that prototype that never made it out either, if that was around that time. I think it probably was. It sounds good, as it always does. Hopefully you will be able to check into the archives, or we leave the videos up for a while. Again, I'll mention the archives that are over at oldtuberadio.net. You can click on the archive button and go to the tube radio check-ins of your selected date, and you'll hear the radio audio. As I hear it here at the station, we do a direct output from the receiver and direct into the sound card. So whatever I hear is what you can hear, and be a good way to test your microphones or see that you were, as we say, bodacious. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, okay. Well, this thing got a thought about the super squelch on it. It's really different. It's in the RF section using half of the RF2 on the thing, so it does the job. Well, I never see one work like this before, and it really does the job, power and squelch and everything. Interesting. Anyway, it's nice to check it in, and thanks a million, Dennis. Very good, Jared.
All right, and indeed, thanks for bringing it by. Break OTR. Hello, Chris. You're Radio 6.
Okay. Well, there we go. All right, we're going to check in the Courier Royale, the 23 channel trooper. Sorry about that. With all the knobs, the blinking lights, and the hidden knobs and stuff like that. And we're also running this in here with the amplified D104 microphone also.
Okay, well, the Courier Royale could be a 24-channel radio. I don't know, does it have that spot between 22 and 23, which was often 22A on the, I guess on the synthesized crystal radio. You could, it was already there, but they had to block it out or ground it out. Theoretically, to make the FCC happy, but a lot of the radios had that, and they would give you that extra channel space, so that if you happen to accidentally cut the green wire, or whatever color it was, you could at least have some channel selector piece to get it there. Love the Courier Royale, a very pretty radio to look at. Before they started really dulling them up with wood case sides and things like that. That's the classic I'll call that the classic CB radio style right there for a transceiver, meaning a one-piece radio, and jam-packed with all the controls to make your operating pleasure fun.
And that it is, fun, no doubt about it. We can actually have to say fun, fun, fun in the sun in the U.S. of A. of California.
Yeah, we've been having some sun here lately. The Courier Royale, there is 11 tubes in that, believe it or not. And if you'd like to know more about the 11 tubes and what they're connected to, oldtuberadio.com has the service manual for the Courier Royale. And in it, you'll probably see somewhere where they put in that Collins 6 kilohertz mechanical filter, a very good selling point for that radio. Give us another transmission. Thanks for bringing by radio number 6.
You betcha, Dennis. As you know, I will be back with another.
Okay, and we'll be glad to have you back because we're, as we often do, or we like to do here at the Old Tube Radio Network, is check in as many radios as we can before we sign out at 10 o'clock. Let me, before I break something here, go over and see if we have any comments for the video side tonight. Doesn't look like we do. So with that in mind, I think at the top of the hour here, or just past the top of the hour, the Jingle Singers will give us our station identification.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And I remember to keep my foot on the switch.
And you can let it off right now, Break.
Okay, yeah, I have to do that. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear you. Hello, Break. Hello, Chris.
Hey, boy, you get to talk to me a lot tonight, haven't you? Anyway, Dennis, this is another one. This here's my 23 channel here also. This is a Chris 23 Plus CB transceiver. Virtually all original that I can tell anyway, yeah. Oh, and also this one here's got the original handheld stock microphone. Not carbon, but it is the original stock microphone. Over.
And nothing to be ashamed about. That audio is nice. The stock microphones often sound good, as does that one. I'll see if I can get a shot of the Chris 23 Plus up here for our viewers over at Google YouTube while you give us a transmission on the audio side.
Yeah, well, this one here, let me see what this thing here does. But, yeah, that keys down about 5 watts there. Yeah, it's keying down 5. Oh, yeah. Actually, about 4.5. It swings up to about a 5 anyway, so that's nothing to snub your nose about anyway.
No, it sounds good. One thing I liked about the Chris wasn't the radio, but it was their font on the logo, their KRIS font. I think that was the closest thing to like a Comic Sans for those of us who do web pages and things and have to deal with trying to make something look a certain way. I'm not sure what font that was or if that was something they made up for their own selves, but Chris always had that in their various products. Back to you. You're going to make the light in the center of the radio. I believe that's the MOD, modulation light. Time to make it wink at you.
Yes, it does wink and blink at me. As I talk, it blinks and winks and whatnot. And if I turn the volume up high enough, Dennis, actually, you can make it do the same thing.
Okay, well, don't disturb the neighbors or the rest of the household, but we'll try that. I'll give you a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Orange Furniture, the official Old Tube Radio test. Orange Furniture, sizzling sausage, and maybe I made the light blink.
Oh yes, you blinked it more than once.
All right, that's good. I don't want to get a bill. I want to get an electric bill from you there. Radio 7, the Chris 23 Plus, Chris at the standard microphone or unamplified microphone or the stock microphone, and doing a good job. Thanks for bringing it by.
Okay, Dennis. Well, I'll be back with another in a bit here. I got to let it warm up. I can't leave that one on when I've got all these other ones going for it'll squeal and scream at me, and I don't like putting all that RF into it. I'd rather wait and then turn it on.
All right, this is not the squeal and scream frequency.
Break OTR.
And break OTR. I hear a bird. I hear a flying eagle.
Oh, wait a minute. You said this was the no screaming. Oh, well, the Screaming Eagle Browning type, Mark III SSB.
All right. Well, it is properly screaming, and here for a couple hours every Saturday on Channel 11. I think screaming and flying around with the eagle is an acceptable practice, and no one's seemed to complain about it just yet. Let's see. You just missed your favorite check-in position, but we like anyone that gets us a radio. So Radio 8 from SWL7 is the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. Back to you.
Yes, he beat me to the punch. I was grabbing for the mic, but someone else beat me to it. Oh, well, no big deal. I still got the darn thing checked in, and that's a good thing.
That is a very good thing. Let me go to one of our photos from SWL 135 of his Browning Mark III, and thankfully he stacked them on top of each other, which is probably not the recommended way to run those radios, but if you're, I guess, real estate challenged in your Radio Shack, that's a good way to do it. But it makes a nice, for my non-digital camera here, makes a nice setting to get the photograph all in the shot. A beautiful radio. You just, you know you've made it into the 11-meter big time when one of these is sitting on your desk.
Yes, and mine is definitely sitting side by side, long version. Yeah, I don't like them having stacked on top of each other also. Oh, and just like that one in the picture, this one has the Golden Eagle D104 attached.
Okay, and very good. Now, probably unlike this picture, his is a kind of a non-standard unit. It seems like the case is a little darker, and it has what we call kind of the reverse right there on the air light, where it's got a darker background. That is not real standard, but you get the idea of for those who may not have seen an Eagle before or had the pleasure to operate one. It's sort of like jumping in the 1959 Lincoln Continental and trying to figure out all those knobs on the dashboard. Sounding good.
Well, okay, good deal. Well, thank you. And with that, I'll definitely warm up another one before the night is over.
All right, and thank you as well for radio number 8 on the Old Tube Radio Network in our 33rd year, going on our 34th year. I have to officially find out what year we are in. There has been so many radios. I don't know if we're up to our millionth tube, but I think there is something rigged here in the shack that when we actually check in our millionth tube radio from the ceiling, there's going to be balloons and confetti and all sorts of great stuff falling. Wanted to make a note on our prior radio, the Mark III SSB, made its debut in 1972, before the 40 channels, of course, so that's why most of them were, the early ones anyway, had 23 channels. And your price range, depending on if you were in good standing with your local electronics store, might have been somewhere in the $650 to $750 range. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, where we do tube radios here. And thanks to our tube radio operators and our collectors here in Central California, we keep things on the air as best we can. I want to say hello to those who are listening at oldtuberadio.net on the live stream. Missouri is in, Washington. Hello, Spokane. Dennis down in Riverside. Robert and Teresa still in. Hello to Texas. Various parts of California. Minnesota is in, and North Carolina, Florida, of course. So we enjoy all the comments that you leave us, and we hope to be able to have some conditions to hear your radios coming through as well. OTR standing by. And looks like Paul has fired up another one. If you are hearing me on the receiver there, hello, 45, over.
Yeah, this has been a long time sitting on the shelf, Dennis. I forgot about this little radio. It's an Apelco AR-9.
Oh, wow, okay. I know we have not checked in the Apelco or any Apelco for quite some time. That definitely has the old tube, definitely has an old tube radio sound to it, but it is transmitting, and I think you are hearing me okay, so I'll see if I can find a shot of that while we go back to you for a transmission.
Yeah, okay. I think you're bringing it up right now. I see the top part of it. Yeah, that's it. Got it. That's the radio I'm talking on right now. It's got that Raytheon, made by Raytheon, and Raytheon is a real large outfit, as you know. They made a lot of tubes in their time and everything else. Maybe still are making them, I don't know. But this radio was manufactured in San Francisco and made by Raytheon, made by Apelco. And Webster and Raytheon were also made by Raytheon. So there was quite a number of them in there at that time. About 1961 is the manufacture date on the schematics on this thing. I'll just let you get back. Maybe you can add something to it, but I got some interesting things to tell you about the way that radio operates.
Okay, because I'm not really familiar with the Apelco, and we've been looking at all the Buddy bases and Brownings and Courier Royales. This looks like it's a little bit more simple to operate. There is on the speaker, I guess on the right-hand side, there's a round. I wonder if that's a pilot light or something. And I see you've got a couple of other pilot lights going in. I love that microphone. From what the sound I'm hearing coming out of that radio looks like it would absolutely be coming out of that microphone. Over.
That's interesting. I was really, the microphone, they are really, as you can see, shaped very strange. And Raytheon made them, I'm sure. Raytheon made everything. I don't even know what element it's got in the thing, whether it's ceramics or what they got in the thing. But it is a unique mic, and I like it real well. And the radio itself is unique, as you can't transmit on this thing. If you see there's a toggle switch in the middle of the three switches there at the bottom of the thing, you can't transmit it unless you have that on. You got to flip the toggle switch up and then see the microphone. But then the volume control just takes the volume. That's it. And you got A&L, which works well, and 1, 2, 3, 5 channels. And that is an antenna light. Don't ask me what it does. It doesn't come on, so. Maybe it's got something to do if you got an antenna problem. I don't know, Dennis.
Okay, antenna light. Maybe they have what they call a gimmick, which would be a light bulb, that kind of like a fuse or something. And that is the switching, the transmit receive or transmit receive bar. That's not quite on the microphone. It's on the radio. It's not uncommon for radios of that era, the early 1958, 59, 60 radios. That Apelco shows up in Sam's Photo Effects CB1. And you are correct. Raytheon, Apelco, and Webster. The Raytheon company has been in business since 1922. Probably everyone's heard of Raytheon. Over the decades, Raytheon's wide range of products and services has included consumer, commercial, military, space electronics, consumer and commercial appliances, civilian and military aircraft, items of interest. In the days of vacuum tubes electronics, which we like to live here, although vicariously, Raytheon was a leading manufacturer of tubes. Microwave cooking was invented by Raytheon engineers in 1946, and Raytheon later marketed the first microwave oven, the Radar Range, believe it or not. Raytheon has a marine products division, and its subsidiary Apelco have been leading manufacturers of communications, radar, and navigational equipment for boats and ships for quite a long time. So you've got a piece of history there. Over.
It's really good. Anybody out there listening, it's really interesting if you look up Raytheon, the company, and what they've done, what they have right now even. It's pretty amazing how something like that continues to go and go, and still make new things, better things, and everything. And they made a pretty decent little radio here. Wasn't real flashy, it's kind of plastic, but still, they keep doing a job, and I think it's doing a good job down there. Back to you.
All right, absolutely. Radio number 9. It's the Apelco AR9. That is the radio on which Paul is talking is the video, or the shot on the video that we have. If you're looking at oldtuberadio.net. And let's take a little more time here on the Apelco, since it is quite a rare radio. The Apelco, and that stands for Applied Electronics Company. So APELCO, Applied Electronics Company, has been a division of Raytheon for decades. And although the Apelco name is normally associated with marine electronics, most of the early Raytheon CB radios appear to have been manufactured by Apelco in South San Francisco, as you said. Harold Smith, W4PQW, a longtime marine electronics dealer from back then, mentioned in this article that he toured the Apelco manufacturing plant in the San Francisco area during the mid-1960s, and he actually saw Raytheon and Apelco radios being assembled. So another West Coast version, like the Buddy Bass here. So that would be quite interesting. Looks like there was, if you have a lot of, 1966 and 1967, looks like Raytheon took out a lot of ads. So if you've got some S9 magazines from then, you will definitely see either Webster, Raytheon, or Apelco ads. All right, we took a little extra time on this one, but well worth it. And I wanted to reward your efforts, Paul, for bringing out the Apelco tonight. The AR9, which is Radio 9, most appropriately. So give us a transmission. And thanks.
Yeah, okay. Well, if we wouldn't be listening to it right now, it wasn't for you, Dennis. Doing a fine job, and thanks a million for checking it in.
Okay, thanks for bringing it by. I'm Scooter, the Radio Cat, is stopping by here tonight, so I got to make sure she gets up on. Let me get to the microphone here and say hi, Scooter. Okay, Scooter's out and saying, as long as I find a warm spot here, I'm doing okay. And I think the radio room is definitely the warmest spot in the radio QTH here tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network is what you're listening to. Real Radio is glowing in the dark, thanks to our tube radio operators who have the knowledge and the time and the radio room real estate to keep all these items on the air. We are standing by. And break OTR. That sounds like Dr. Dan over. All right, well, that's our job here at the Old Tube Radio Network, is to put up with the radios as we can, chase them on frequency, dial in the audio, bring them out of the noise level if necessary. And tonight, I'm noticing that it is not necessary to put on the extra headphoniums. I'm hearing you quite well, over. Yeah, the audio is nice and strong. You are above the noise level, as our SWLs who are listening in can tell, and as you might be able to hear if you tune in the archives later on. So you're making a good showing for Radio 10, and I'm always pleased to put a photo of that Courier, because that is, I think, in all the radios we have, if I would call a radio steampunk. Yeah, Google that one. If indeed there was a steampunk radio, I think this would be it.
But I took it apart and I just found out that the crystal socket where the crystal was in was not functioning properly apparently, so I put the crystal in a different socket, and boy, that made a lot of difference, so I don't think I need to do anything else to it.
No, absolutely not. I will agree with that. I was looking at the S meter. You are just above the noise, but unlike last week, the audio is making a big difference. It is really strong, it's loud, it's good fidelity, and that's making all the difference for my ability to copy you on a what I'll say is a less than stellar signal, and that's only because of our distance here on the ground wave. So whatever you did, your choice of crystal socket selection there is making the difference.
Yeah, that's good. I also I got a little bit of information on this radio. Apparently they were produced in around 60 and 61 because I've got some literature that actually have a post date on it from like the schematic, the photofax, and that was sent out in 1965. So another radio these radios were built before then.
Okay, and that makes sense. The old2radio.com website lists it as 1968, and I know that is definitely incorrect. If it was that new, I guess, it would certainly be a 23-channel radio by then. And this does have that classic look. Like we're still kind of figuring out how to make this thing and adding to it and trying to stay competitive. And definitely classy. And if you get a chance to listen to the archives, you will hear that it is performing audio-wise for sure, performing much better this week than last week, and keeping our net controller happy because I don't have to adjust anything tonight on the radio.
Yeah, I think this radio built by ECI. I think they also built some radio equipment for the government also. I think they had a big plant down in Florida, in Petersburg, Florida.
Okay, well, we got a couple of Florida stations listening in tonight, so they will appreciate that we've got a couple of Florida radios tonight, from the Courier Royale to the Courier 1, A75. I guess that's 4 channels, or no, it's 12 channels, isn't it? And then you got a main tuning 23 somehow. But anyway, as long as you got channel 11 on there, we like that.
37. Yeah, it's got 12 sockets, and some other things you can tune with. You can tune it to 23, and then there's some more tuning things that you can just adjust and have a fixed speakers on about 4 channels also.
Okay, and I'm showing that as a 12-tube radio, so I think they are all working good tonight. All right, we got a breaking station. Thanks for standing by there, breaking station. We'll be right with you. And I want to take a little time with Dan because I've had, I should say, problems with the reception of the last couple of weeks, and I'm enjoying the fact that it's 100% copy here on the Courier 1 or the A75. Give us another transmission, Dan. Thanks for your efforts to get some input on the radio list here tonight as Radio 10.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad it's working better, too. When I get my antenna up in there, maybe you'll be able to hear me even better.
Yeah, and likewise, me too. So that'll improve things all the way around. But really sounding good. A nice, strong, clear audio on the A75 tonight. It's the Old 2 Radio Network. My name is Dennis, net controller for the evening, listening to your radios here in Central California and beaconing across the world at oldtuberadio.net. Scooter the Radio Cat has joined the mix here, and if I can grab the other studio, we'll talk. We'll have the Jingle Singers tell us, do what they do best, and then we'll be talking to radio number 11.
latest style. That's
27.085 megahertz.
your dial. That's
Channel 11, Old Tube Radio,
in wonderful.
Fresno, California.
And thanks for being patient, Chris. It is your turn.
And you're right. This is radio number 11. It says it right on the front. All right, Dennis, this is my general radio telephone. The Super MC11A, a 24-channel model on this one here. And also we're running this here with a handheld stock microphone. Over.
And amazing audio, such that it is, from a general radio telephone. We, as you may have heard earlier, we had almost the same version of that radio, just an update, the MC12. They tried to peek and tweak a few things and got themselves in trouble with the type acceptance. So I guess what you've got is perhaps the last officially FCC type accepted radio that General Radio was able to produce, and it's sounding good. Gives another transmission.
No, yeah, well, this here definitely works. You know, he's got the old man in the wheelchair there with an IV and everything standing next to him, so it still takes a lick and keeps on ticking.
Oh, that is correct. And for those at the video or at oldtuberadio.net, I'm going to point the cursor, the little mouse hand here, what he's talking about, the GRT logo. He talks about the old man in the wheelchair with the IV. So if you're able to expand your screen and put on your thinking caps and think of what is it, the handicapped parking placard or something, you might get the gist of what Chris is talking about there. But we like the sound of the general radio telephone. What can I tell you about it? 9 tubes with, of course, as Paul knows, that ECLL 800 in the modulator output to keep things working nice with a stock microphone. Back to you for another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by.
Yes, I do. Thank you. And, well, you know, this is the last of my tubers here, so I'm going to be getting off this in here, and I guess I'll just kind of monitor on the other radio. I like to save my tubes for when I really, really need them.
Okay, yeah, we're going to have to get you another shelf over there so you can have an excuse to bring in another radio for 2017.
Well, you know, that doesn't mean I don't have room. Because I could definitely make another spot down here for another radio. Actually, 1, 2, I could put at least maybe 2 more. So, you know, if anybody wants to just throw one this way, I'll catch them and put them down here and fire the puppies up. That I will do. I believe in making them work when they work.
All right, and we are glad that you do, because we believe in checking them in and sharing them with the world here at oldtuberadio.net. Thanks, Chris. We are standing by.
Go to you. All right, Dennis, we'll be out.
All right, and let's see. I think we have a double, 2-for-1 here. We've got, not only do we have an SWL check-in, but I think I'm going to try and snag the radio out of this, too. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Radio 50 checking in. Newly resurrected Mark III.
All right, and the Mark III is sounding good. We are going to grab it here at 9:30 and put it down as Radio 12. And the resurrection went well. It sounds great.
Yeah, I did. Need a new volume controller and some sprucing up a little bit, and roll the tubes around and stuff, and make it happy again.
All right, is that the SSB version on the transmitter?
Affirmative on the SSB.
All right, sounding good, very loud. The ping is the thing, and Radio 12 and SWL 50 is now checked in. Over.
Copy that, and it definitely has a swing in the thing, so anyway, glad it's up and running again.
Yeah, you are unmodulated at S9, and when you are speaking into the microphonium there, you are 15 dB over S9, so looking good all the way around.
Sweet.
That's the way we like it here in the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, Mark.
Break OTR.
And I think we've got a couple breakers. We've got SWL7. We'll be right to you, Ed. And who was the other one?
45.
And 45. All right, Paul, take a step up to the green room, have a lemonade. We will be right with you. You'll be Radio 14. Mr. Ed's got lucky Radio 13, and we'll check on him right now. Hello, Ed.
Oh, and hello, Dennis, and all the SWLs. This time we're bringing you the Johnson Messenger 223.
All right, good. Hopefully we're getting some E.F. Johnsons in there, because we do have, I definitely got a couple of E.F. Johnson fans online with us here tonight, I think. We'll log that in at 9:30, and so I can grab the correct photo. Do you have modulation light, or are you sans modulation light?
No, there is definitely no modulation light on this particular one. The only lights are over the channel selector and, of course, the little meter there that tells you when you're transmitting and, of course, receive signals.
Okay, not sure what the story is on the modulation light. I would almost want to think that would indicate a later model, or a newer model in this case. There's had quite a decent production run from, I guess, early 1969 to 1972. So they produced a lot of these, sold a lot of them. It was a very good radio, price point wise, at around $200. Always typically would come with the base mic if you added that in there, but that gave you your S meter, your 23 channels, and a really good transmitter and receiver from a company that knew what to do from long ago.
Oh, there you go. And yes, this one did not come with that microphone, unfortunately. I do not have a Johnson microphone. So this one has the D104 Silver Eagle.
Okay, and that's a good choice for that. Sounds good. I'm showing that it was an option, perhaps. You could buy it with or without the mic, but typically when you see them, they show that that desk mic that has like the Turner-style desk mic, but it has the Johnson logo across the front. And I'm trying to think, the photo I have doesn't have the microphone with it. I'm trying to think about, okay, I'm going to switch over to one. It's going to have the modulation light on it, but I just want people to see that would be the standard Johnson microphone that typically would come with that radio. Give us another transmission on Radio 13. It is sounding good, and the first E.F. Johnson of the evening. Thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, and thank you. And yeah, that like I say, that microphone. Look, what's one thing I don't understand with this radio, though, because if you don't have a microphone plugged in, there's no receive, so you have to have one. Okay,
that must be, what do they call it, electronic switching, where you got to have the microphone in. I'm surprised that radio has that. Typically, that would more common on the smaller solid-state mobile radio. So I'm assuming that doesn't have a big clunk when you key down the microphone, but it definitely has a clunk here. Sounds really good. We have, who's in the green room? There he is. Paul's coming up the steps here in the studio. Hello, 45.
Well, I've got bad news. Joel Webster decided to quit listening. So I checked in with my base radio here, so we'll try to get it again next week, Dennis.
Okay, well, that might be my fault. I waited too long. Sometimes the tubes need a while to warm up, and sometimes they hit their peak, and like a flower, you better have that. You better have your camera ready to take a shot, because they don't last too long. All right, well, we'll give you a rain check.
Thanks, Dennis.
And you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. 33 years on the air, thanks to, as you have heard tonight, our shortwave listeners and Old Tube radio operators that keep us on the air. Also, our jingle singers that keep me from forgetting what it is that I'm doing. The magic of tube radios. Here we go.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic
Old Tube Radio.
for you.
They remind me of one of the series of Dennis the Menace, when Mr. Wilson was waiting for his flower to bloom, and Dennis blew it all.
He did a lot of things to poor Mr. Wilson, but not intentionally. But yeah, that's sometimes the radios are like that. They're gonna perform. They've got one chance, and when the curtain opens, they need to do their song and dance. I want to say hello, wave a hand to Tim Tron, Tim up there in the Pacific Northwest, who occasionally tunes in when he can get into the Radio Shack. A digital side, and we are still looking. This has been a really, really poor year for our late night e-skip. I don't know if it's having to do with the sunspot cycle, which typically shouldn't do that much with the late night stuff, but I know it does. So we'll keep looking for you, Tim, on the air here at 27085, but glad you are aboard over at oldtuberadio.net, and the Old Tube Radio Network is standing by.
Break OTR.
And break OTR. I have a feeling that Phil has wandered in here with Radio 14 tonight. Hello, Radio.
So hello, Dennis. Paul inspired me to put another Raytheon subsidiary company, Webster radio on the air. It's the Webster Bandspanner 412.
All right, good, because we talked a lot about Raytheon and Apelco and Webster, kind of the big trio there, and we'll keep it going here with the Webster. And what is the? Give me the number again. Over.
It's the Webster Bandspanner 412.
Okay, and and you know what? It has a striking similarity in the way the case is to the Apelco. It's obviously it's got some differences, but I can see the Apelco Raytheon flavor there, and we'll grab a shot. There it is, the 412. And it also has a similar sound. It has that very mellow, not a lot of high frequencies in the audio sound that we were getting on the Apelco. But give us another transmission. I'm going to say this is a bit more deluxe than the Apelco.
Well, I don't know. This one does indeed have a meter. The microphone is original equipment manufacturer hardwired into the radio, or at least the microphone is hardwired into the radio. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels with a place for a 6th channel on the front of the radio. There's a socket for a transmit crystal and a receive crystal. Over.
Okay, and we're talking about the Webster Bandspanner 412. If you are oldtuberadio.net, you can see a shot of it there, or watching the YouTube video. There are 9 tubes in that radio, the tube complement. And it looks similar to the Raytheon Raytel TWR series. The thing I noticed, I looked at the S meter, and I know when you're on one of the big radios, you can give me a 25 over S9 signal. So I'm going to say this radio at about 5 over 9 is probably putting out maybe a watt and a half, but it's got good audio.
Well, let's see. I'm looking at my meter here, and let's see. Yeah, mine says about 2 watts. Not much swing to it. Over.
Yeah, and it's not at 100% modulation, but it sounds good and no problem, as you should be able to hear if you tune into the archives. I have we don't often have this. Let me do this before you go. A rear shot of the backside of the radio, and it looks a heck of a lot more technical than I would think. There's a couple of adjustments for the PA tune and load, which is kind of nice, having some external adjustments for that. It's not quite easy when it's in the back of the radio, but yeah, you've got some tuning and loading you can do. It looks like there is a antenna. I can't tell if that's an external antenna it's got the 3 screws in back. Looks like it's got the grounding lug. So quite interesting. It's got some good technical things. There's also a couple of plugs back there, in and out. So I don't know. Let me see. Do we have a manual for that on at oldtubradio.com? It doesn't say that we do. So otherwise, that would explain some of the mystery back there.
Well, yeah, there's quite a few different things on the back of this, but the one that is especially convenient is the carry handle.
Oh, I'm trying to see if we see that or not. I don't know. Well, that might be something to check out sometimes. You can try the tune and load, look at your watt meter, find out what your max power is, and then you back the load control back a little bit. I think that's how they do it in the amplifiers. And that should bring up the audio, but then there you go. You can peek and tweak the radio without having to take the top off, and it must be portable if it's got a carry handle.
Well, yeah, I've peeked and tweaked this about as much as I can get it to go. A couple of different sockets. I'm going to make a guess and guess for different voltages. I don't know what accessory may have been available at the time. Oh, I'm losing my modulation here. What? No, I've got to yell here. Anyway, there you go, Dennis. Thanks.
All right, yeah, the modulation is good. I actually see some forward movement on the S meter, so I think you're correct. You've got it tweaked and tweaked the way it needs to be. We're talking to the Webster Band Spanner 412, 9 tubes, 6 channels, 5 internal, and the 1 external. If I had the right photo here, you'd see the front of the radio. And from the Raytheon, Apelco, and Webster trio there that we spoke with earlier. Thanks for bringing that one by.
Thank you, Dennis. Back to OTR.
Yeah, we have the greatest tube operators here. They listen in and often will pull from their collection something that will help us. I don't know, and things we talk on earlier kind of educate us and elucidate from things we've talked about earlier, and that's one of them right there. Still about 15 more minutes here before the net ends. If you're thinking about checking in a radio or you've got something warmed up, we'll be able to get it on our list here tonight. If you haven't checked in SWL-wise and you would like to do that, not a problem. We'll be here to do that. The Old Tube Radio Network.
45.
And hello, 45. Hello, Paul. Over.
Yeah, we're going to try it again. I just want to hear it anyway. Phil had his go. This is a Webster Band Spanner 412, just like his.
Oh, is that the one you were going to check in on? Yeah, I missed part of your comment there, Paul. Was that the radio that you were trying to check in on earlier?
Yeah, it's the same one. It's still not doing a very good job, but it's trying real hard. This is my same Band Spanner Webster 412.
Okay, and that's the radio that you are on now. Over. Yeah, I just want to be clear that is the radio that you are transmitting on at this point. Over.
Help. Anyway, check it in if you don't mind. It's the Band Spanner 412.
Okay, I've got you. Might have a loose crystal there, but we got you. That'll be Radio 15 on your Webster Band Spanner 412 as well. I did copy that. Over.
Yeah, now I got you back again. I just set the top of the cabinet here and started working. I don't know how long it's going to do it. But anyway, I hope you got it down. It's the Band Spanner 412 made by Webster.
Yeah, in fact, I think, do I still have the picture up at the site? Yeah, I've got the wrong side of it. Let me get the other side. I do have a copy on that, the Webster Band Spanner 412, no problem. That is Radio 15, also Radio 14 as well. Thanks, Paul. Over.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Glad to get it in.
And just a comment from Larry, who actually did spend some time in the depths of the E.F. Johnson manufacturing company. Says he was going to have to look into that modulation light on the 223, but he's thinking it could be the same thing, maybe an add-on on the later models, but we're not quite sure what the switchover date might be. So anyway, as long as you got a 223, you're in good shape, whether it has the light or not. And Tim was listening to OTR on his headphones on the way to work. So we haven't quite figured out stereo yet. I think I actually have a stereo pilot, if you will, off of the streaming, but I don't have any stereo processing going on, even though, let's see. Okay, for those of you on headphones, there you go. This is about the best we can do for stereo on your left channel and on your right channel and in between. So if we're making the stereo pilot light go on, that's a good thing. And you are tuned to the Old Tube Radio Network. We're looking for Radio 16. And let's see, check in from SWL44 over at oldtuberadio.net. Hello, Ray. Thanks for getting the digital side fired up, and we'll get you officially checked in.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR.
Let's do some adding.
27.085 megahertz.
What an AM out to
Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
Well, I'm hearing something coming out of the RF socket there. It sounds, the microphone element sounds very strange, almost like it's way in the back of the microphone, and there is definitely an AC ripple. All right, it's rough. We might give it a try since you have kind of plunked it into the big pond here. Maybe you can take one or two transmissions. I can see what it is. It's being archived. I'm sure you will not be happy with the way the audio sounds. Very, very restricted. It definitely sounds like there's an AC ripple going on, but I do hear you. So take another transmission. Okay, yeah, it's definitely a rough copy. I thought you said it was a Spitfire, but I wasn't sure. It reminds me of, I think, was it RCA? There were a couple of radios out that had like a walkie-talkie, like a speaker microphone. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the microphone is actually, the speaker. It's sharing that situation there. If you can give me again what the radio is or what type the radio is. I thought you said Spitfire, but I didn't catch all of it. Over. Okay, and I think Cliff has one of those, but he's got the. In fact, I'm propping it up now. He's got the Cardone Spitfire Mark XL, which is the Robin T123B. So what you're saying is you have the Spitfire, which is probably the T123 with the magic eye over.
That is correct. Cliff has, I believe, either the 23 channel one or the 40 channel one. I think Bill might have the 40 channel one. I think it's the Spitfire 1 XL. I think it's the 40 channel one. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I'll get off of this radio on the one that you can understand a little better. But anyway, I wanted to get this one checked in. It's the clone of the Robin T123.
Okay, and actually it's come up a little bit. The audio's actually gotten a little bit better as you've been talking on it. Cardone, C-A-R-D-O-N, the Spitfire, and unfortunately my database here does not have a shot of that. Like you said, it's the clone of the Robin, since I see the Spitfire XL as the 123B, so interesting. Okay, if that's what it is, it should sound a whole lot better. It should sound a whole lot better than that. So, but it is working, so it sounds like there's a mic element problem or something. Probably could have a little bit more output. I do hear the AC ripples, so you got some work, but it is transmitting and doing its thing. And like I said, we put extra effort. If someone's going to put extra effort to get a radio on the air, we'll make sure we try and get it checked in. And we've got that as Radio 16, and have to do a little research and see if we can get a shot of that. I know it's a Robin clone, but one that has the Spitfire tag on the front. All right, Harvey, thanks. It is definitely working. It is official, and we hope to hear it in future episodes in its better form. Okay, it's amazing. It has extremely restricted audio. I mean, there is absolutely no low frequency at all. It's all kind of mid-range and high mid-range. Again, like I stand with my statement that it reminds me of the speaker microphone combination.
Okay. Oh, look at this. I guess it's the microphone somewhat. This is the stock Robin handle.
Well, that, as you will hear if you listen to the archives, that increased the audio fidelity 100%. Because of the other one had the high frequency, it actually had a little bit more punch to it. So the fidelity has gone up. So make sure you stay in that microphone and when you transmit.
Okay, yeah, I can see the magic eye is down at the bottom as far as when I don't talk. And then it almost closes when I do talk. There is a gain control inside the radio. That's the extra board. Now this one is somewhat working. I'm able to tell that that board has a little hot on it. Has to be turned up almost all the way is the audio gain control. Because the other radios that don't I have, they don't transmit. So didn't know what that extra board is. That board is not in the Robin. It's totally not in it. Everything else is. But this one has that board. I did take it out to the audio system, but, and I guess it was probably a modulation little booster, and I guess that's what it is. I guess I should turn the T104 down, and maybe that would help.
Yeah, it could be. The fidelity is much better, but it's lost a little bit of the gain because you don't have that high-pitched element that actually breaks through. And again, you are just above my noise level, so that made a difference. I would now believe that could be a Robin. Over. Yeah, if that sounds like the original microphone, and it definitely has some issues with the element or something. Just for my reference, that is a straight Spitfire. It is not a Mark something or a Mark 1 or a Mark 2. It is just the Spitfire over.
Yeah, that's the Spitfire. I don't want it, but I don't want it now.
Okay, because I'm finding some photos, but it seems like that is a really rare radio, because I keep seeing things, the Spitfire 2 and the XL, which seem to be a little bit more fancy. Okay, yeah, interesting sound. They're showing on the Mark II, it has some red and green panel lights that are on either side of the channel selector. Does your Spitfire have that? On the Mark II, they're showing there are some red and green, I'm going to call it panel lights, that are on either side of the channel selector. I'm assuming you don't have that on yours. Okay, so it's basically T123, and they changed the badge on the front, among some other things on the inside, maybe. All right, very good. We'll log it in as Radio 16. And I'm going to say that's the first time we've probably ever had just a Spitfire here on the net. So creating history, and such that it is. And hopefully you are not buried in clip leads to make the thing work, but it is functioning, and we've got it logged.
Okay, back to the headlight. Yeah, there's a problem with the E104. I just remembered, even though this fires it up, each control just turns and turns and turns. And it doesn't do it with the dial and switch back. It's the E104, but it just happened to work on this radio. But I grabbed the Robin button, and it stopped him on something else. Let's see what it sounds like when I turn the volume here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I can hear the audio being super restricted. Well, since you're getting the HD ripple, all the sampling is good. But guess what? They're probably not.
Yeah, I think part of it is it's in the noise a little bit. It certainly does have better fidelity with the original microphone. So okay, we'll look for it in future episodes with whatever upgrades it may or may not get. But it is functioning, and I can see why we don't have any photos of it. I have a feeling it's quite a rare radio.
Now that's why I grabbed it when I could. I just hoped it worked. The person said it turns on, it looks like it works, but it didn't have a light or an antenna. What do you do? And it needed a lot of tuning just to get the key that barely transferred. But I'll do a sample session and see what I can do. Okay, I'll let you go. I'll try one more.
Okay, we got the Jingle Singers ready for their finale. We are past the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to do some counting and amounting, and we should be... we got room for yet another radio. So, yeah, when you have the proper microphone in there, it definitely has some good fidelity on the audio. So it just needs a little more, I guess, RF out the SO239 and some capacitors, like you said, and it should be on its way. The Cardone Spitfire OTR counting and mounting, and we are listening. Now that one has different issues.
Yeah, it makes this squeaky noise when I key it. Okay, the Golden Beagle from Browning, the R68 T68 from good old Browning Laboratories with the custom View 104. And we'll keep it down because it's after hours, and you need to get your Ovaltine.
Yeah, that one has issues. It has a squeaky noise, and I have to turn my volume down to hear it.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorites here. Okay, I'm going to let you get back to ending the show there, and I'll turn the rest of this stuff off here so I don't burn it up there. Okay, take care. Catch you next week.
All right, your Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68, or the original Golden Eagle, I suppose you could say, is our Radio 17 tonight. It is sounding good. Thanks for bringing it by. OTR's counting and mounting, and still time for radio if you got one.
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
As modern as you can be on your classic tube radio. Last call for check-ins.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
All right, the current and final OTR totals. Scooter's getting tired. He thinks you're going to take us off the air with errant paw on the keyboard here. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing and I guess glowed in the dark. I don't know if that's a correct way to say it. A total of 17 radios, and we'll go down the list here in just a moment. On the SWL side, we had a total of 49, our new 8-week roster, and we welcome Robert, SWL 111, into the 00 position. 9 check-ins on page 1, 17 on page 2, 10 on page 3, and 13 on page 4 for a total of 49. And on the radios tonight, 17 total. We had a pretty good selection. Nobody ran away with anything. I'm going to call it for the Brownings, though, as we did have 3 Brownings checking tonight. Had a pair of General Radio telephones. We had a good showing from the Raytheon group, from the Websters, Band Spanners, and the Pelcos. Going in order, the Buddy Bass tonight, the TX-11B, the RC-11B from Paul, started things off at 8:45. Larry, Mr. Boardjammer, good to hear him on the tram D201, staying up late tonight with the Old Tube Radio Network. We appreciate that. A couple from Chris, Radio 3 and 4, the Hallicrafters CB38 Little Phone and his Gem Marine Products G PowerMate. Paul came by with Radio 5, the General Radio Telephone Super MC12. The Courier Royale was Radio 6 from Chris, followed by his Chris 23 Plus for Radio 7. Mr. Ed on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Always a nice sound out of that radio. Radio number 8. Radio 9, Paul on his Apelco AR9 from 1959 or 1960 on that one, I believe. Dr. Dan making a run for the Courier and sounding good tonight. Doing a little, I guess, peek and tweak magic, and it definitely sounds better than it did last week, coming through nice on the audio, so good job, Dan, for Radio 10 on the Courier. Radio 11, Chris on his General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. That was followed by Mr. Mark on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, newly refurbed and really doing a good job. Just a reminder, you can hear how well your radios did or tried to do by clicking on the archives at oldtuberadio.net. There is an archive button at the top of the page. Load that up. The OTR magnetophone will load all those little tiny 3-inch reel-to-reel audio tapes, and you'll be able to select from the date and whether it's an SWL check-in or Tube Radio check-in and hear how your radio sounded. I'm sure you will be pleased. Radio 13 tonight was Mr. Ed on the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, and maybe we will solve the mystery of the modulation light coming up in future episodes on that. Radio 14, Phil on the Webster Band Spanner 412, followed by Paul on his Webster Band Spanner 412. So a couple of Websters there back to back. We used to get a lot of those in the early days and don't hear too much of the Websters now, so that was nice. Radio number 16, the Cardone Spitfire. I'm going to say that is probably our first check-in ever of the original Spitfire model, and Harvey will be working on that one and probably bring it back for us in a modified version. And finally, the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 from Harvey SWL20. I want to say thanks to all our Tube Radio operators to keep this network and I guess program going with their efforts and time spent in radio real estate in the Radio Shack, keeping the tubes glowing. Thanks to our listeners, wherever they might be, if you're at 27085 here in Central California, or one of the many from California, Florida, Minnesota, Washington, Florida, Oregon, hello, Portland, Oregon, Tennessee, and others that may tune in and out to enjoy the program and enjoy your radios. We enjoy your comments as well. Don't forget, you can, if you have the ability to go Facebook, you can post some of your radio collection up on our Facebook site at Old Tube Radio Network, so we may see them as well, and maybe share them on the air as some of those radio model check-ins. Checks in. Oh, it's getting late. Scooter, we got to get out of here. Thanks to our technical crew at searchlawrence.com and Frodex that keep the Nixie tubes running, and we'll try it again next week on the Old Tube Radio Network, because real radios glow in the dark. 73, everybody.
Good night. Good night.
As always, a great job, Dennis. Good night.
Does Bozo ever get Ovaltine?
He's sort of a Nestle's quick, you know, that really horrible strawberry stuff.
Yes, I remember it well. Okay, see ya.
All right, catch you later, and all right, yeah, he's out and looking for it. I don't even think they make it anymore. You have to get it off of eBay, and then it's like 20 years past the expiration date. But you know, that doesn't stop him.
Thanks again, Dennis. Like always, man, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have what we do every freaking Saturday night. We're always looking forward to it.
All right, I appreciate the good words, but I think we've got enough radios around here that we could probably have an Old Tube Radio Network just about any night of the week with all the glow-in-the-dark radios. All right, I'm going to say goodnight to our listeners at oldtuberadio.net. Good night at the video, and we'll catch you later. 73 from the Old Tube Radio Network.
Oh, yeah, well, there is Tube Radios to be there, but you are the master of ceremonies that is always a pleasure to listen to. Thanks again. Hey, Harv, see ya.